How we doing, guys? And welcome to the preview and the predicted lineup. Arsenal against Manchester United. This is one of those fixtures that I really enjoy. So, of course, it's Arsenal against Manchester United, a fixture over the years that so many of us have enjoyed. And it's also a fixture that we've absolutely dreaded with some of the results we've had. But this feels like one of those games, one of those moments in a season that could be pivotal. I was looking to do this preview, before the Crystal Palace game for Manchester United and how they were only going to be 6 points behind us. And if they won the game, then they'd only be 3 points behind. And then, of course, we do still have a game in hand and everything. But they would be right on our tails. They would be right in the mix for the talk of winning the Premier League. But the Crystal Palace game has happened, and a lot has happened in that game. First of all, they drew the game and they conceded in injury time, which will feel like a defeat for Manchester United. They dropped those 2 points. They are 8 points behind, and we do have a game in hand. So when you look at it and you think, you know what, we go on and win this game, we go 11 clear, game in hand, could potentially be 14. Manchester United would not be in the reckoning for the Premier League. But I feel one of the bigger stories of the evening was, of course, the yellow card for Casemiro. And he will now miss the game against Arsenal through suspension. And when you look at it, and I was watching the game, and obviously I knew that Casemiro was on 4 yellow cards. And when I was watching the first 75 minutes or so of the game, you could tell that he knew he was a yellow card away from suspension. He wasn't getting involved in anything. He was not getting caught in positions that meant he would have to do something reckless. And I thought, yeah, he'll play in the game. And in all honesty, I wanted Casemiro to play. I don't want Manchester United to have any excuses. And I know that Manchester United and Erik ten Hag himself has come out and said that, Casemiro didn't play in the game at Old Trafford when we beat him. He came on as a sub, but he wasn't involved then as he is now because he was just finding his feet in the Premier League. But I think the one thing that people are not actually speaking about the most is that in that game, we didn't have a certain Thomas Partey playing. That's a big, big miss. Trust me on that one. The only game that we've actually lost in the Premier League was this game, and Thomas Partey was not playing. We had Lokonga playing. Like, no disrespect, but the comparables doesn't even match up. So I think a lot of people are actually forgetting that we didn't have Thomas Partey. Ultimately, that is what led to us losing that game. We weren't able to press the way that we currently do. We weren't able to win the ball high up like we currently do. And Manchester United were able to counter, and they were able to score those goals when in reality we were makers of our own downfall in that game. Of course, we took the lead in that game. Goal was disallowed wrongfully. And even the VAR and everything else have come out and said since that was the wrong decision. That game is completely different if we go 1-0 up. Completely and utterly different. And our record speaks for itself this season. But how did we respond to that defeat? Well, go and have a look. We haven't lost since that game was in September. It's now January. So that speaks volumes about Arsenal's mental capabilities and what they're able to do after a defeat. But listen, Manchester United will still be dangerous. They will still have the likes of Marcus Rashford, etc. And we're still going to have to be at 100% to make sure that we take care of them. Home advantage, we've got a very good home record against Manchester United in recent years. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, you know what, go at them in the first 30 minutes. And I don't think that they'll be able to withstand the way that we play. If we play anything like we did in the first half against Spurs, and even the performance against Newcastle, where I know we didn't win, but overall our performance was dominating. We play anything like those kind of performances and, the periods of game that we played against Brighton away, etc. Listen, no team can live with that at the moment. But it's going to be an interesting game. It's going to be interesting in terms of lineups. What do Manchester United do? Do they move Martinez into the defensive midfield, bring Luke Shaw across? I think that plays into our hands massively. especially with the likes of Bukayo Saka and what they can do down on the flanks. But yeah, it's going to be a very, very interesting game. I'm looking forward to it. So with that said, let's go and get into the predicted lineup. Starting off in goal, Aaron Ramsdale. Do not need to say any more. Aaron Ramsdale, absolute quality in goal. Right back, Ben White. Absolutely no doubt about this in any way, shape or form. I can't say much more. Moving into centre defence. First of all, William Saliba. And do you know what? One thing I'm going to say is that, you know, you look at the Casemiro situation and how he was sitting on that yellow card and how one moment where he just lost it and reacted and got that booking. William Saliba has been on 4 yellow cards since before the World Cup. And since we've returned from the World Cup, we've played the likes of West Ham, the likes of Brighton, Newcastle, Spurs, and he hasn't picked up that 5th yellow card. That, for me, is superb. And I know that a lot of people, including myself, have said that his performances seem to have just dipped slightly. I feel that the threat of being suspended has probably been hanging over him. And maybe that's why his performances have not been to such a high level, because he's been worried about that. And when you look at the games that we've had and the games that he could potentially miss, you didn't want him missing the likes of Brighton away. You didn't want him missing Newcastle. You certainly didn't want him missing Spurs. And you certainly didn't want him missing Manchester United. So for him to come through that unscathed, superb. Left centre-back, Gabriel, absolutely immense. He's been immense before the World Cup. He's been immense since the World Cup. It's as simple as that. Left-back position, Zinchenko, absolutely immense against Spurs. And he's going to be key in this game. When he drops into that inverted role, pack the midfield, create the spaces, I think that, you know, he is perfect. Absolutely perfect. Going to move into the midfield area. First of all, Thomas Partey. I would love to have seen Partey against Casemiro, but we're not going to see that. But Thomas Partey missed the game at Old Trafford. Now you're going to see what he's all about. Alongside him, Granit Xhaka. Superb season. I can't say no more. Leader. Might not be wearing the armband, but he is a leader. It's that simple. On the right-hand side, Bukayo Saka. Exceptional season. Exceptional player. I don't need to say any more. In the middle, Martin Odegaard. The orchestrator, you know, literally conducts everything around him. If he's playing and he's on tune, then Manchester United are in trouble. So it'd be interesting to see how they try and deal with him, because I feel that someone like Casemiro would have sat on Martin Odegaard. So him not being there is bigger than you think. On the left-hand side, Gabriel Martinelli. And I think it would be an interesting battle between Martinelli and a rejuvenated Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So I'm looking forward to that battle. That's for sure. I'm looking forward to it. And yeah, listen, we'll see what happens. But Martinelli goes on that left-hand side. Up front, main striker, Eddie Nketiah. I think that, you know, since he's came in to replace Jesus whilst he's out injured, he's been doing a job. He's been doing very well. I think the only thing, he's been doing a job. He's been doing very well. He's been doing a job. He's been doing very well. I think the only thing missing from his game against Spurs were the goals. That is literally it. His overall play was very, very good. So, listen, that is it for my predicted lineup. I think it's pretty self-explanatory right now. For the first time in a long time, you're looking at Arsenal 11s and you're going, yeah, you kind of know what it's going to be, to be honest with you. If you somehow disagree with that 11, please, please, please let me know in the comment section where you disagree. Because I don't think Mikel Arteta is going to disagree, because I think that is going to be the 11 all day long on Sunday. So, listen, if you're new around here, make sure you do hit that subscribe button. Make sure you smash a like on this video, and I will see you lot soon. I am out of here.